So daylight savings time is full in effect. We're springing forward. It's that annual ritual in the spring where you go forward, and I'm just done with it. I don't. I first of all hate. I'm going to give up an hour's worth of sleep, and so I don't love that. But I also don't love the health effects of this daylight savings time. So I'm just done with it. And during this video, I'll talk about why and what the health risks are. And I know all of you, right, have experienced this. Have you ever woken up after the clocks spring forward, right, in the spring, or fall back, feeling completely out of sync, right? It seems like, oh, it's just an hour, but people, a lot of my patients feel like they've been hit by a truck, and so if you're feeling that way, you're not imagining it. Daylight savings time is not just the inconvenience. It's not just a little time change. It can be a real threat to our health. And I'm here to tell you that it's not just annoying, and that's why I'm done with it. It can be dangerous, right? It really messes with your sleep, your heart, your mental health, even your productivity. And so, and the worst part is that we keep doing this year after year, even though the science, if your science back, tells us it's not great for us. So let me break it down why I feel like that daylight savings time is not great. Number one, the sleep disruption. So your internal clock, you have an internal clock that kind of tells you sleeping, waking is what you're supposed to do. Again, imagine you wake up on a Monday and the clocks have been springing forward, and suddenly you've lost an hour of sleep, right? You may feel groggy, sluggish, your whole day is off balance, and that's because our body's internal clock, called the circadian rhythm, right, is off. And when we artificially mess with it, that internal clock, you can pay the price. And research has shown that even one lost hour of sleep, just one, can increase your stress, reduce your focus, throw your hormone balance off. And a lot of my patients talk about that. And this is why the Monday after the daylight savings time switch sees such a high spike. Car accidents, injuries in the workplace, and poor decision making. So lots of stuff can happen, right? So that's the first one. It's a sleep disruption. First reason why I'm done with daylight savings time. Then second one is the heart attack and stroke risk. This is super important, for people to understand. And here's where, like I said, it gets super serious, right? Do you know that heart attacks spike by 24%? 24% the Monday after the spring time change. It's right around the corner right now. And that's right. 1 hour less sleep can increase your risk of a cardiovascular event, right? Heart, brain, all the blood vessels. And so the statistics for stroke is that ischemic stroke, where your brain's not getting enough blood flow, jumps 8% right after daylight savings time. And that means more folks end up in the emergency room with life-threatening brain events, all because we shift our clocks by one little hour, right? And so to me, it's an outdated policy that is sending my patients to the hospital. And so the question is, why are we doing this? I'm just done with it. Third reason why I don't love daylight savings time: mental health, more depression, more anxiety, right? So if you've ever felt down during the shorter daylight months, for example, when in the fall, when you fall back, right? You get less daylight hours. You're not getting enough sunlight. So lots of people have more symptoms and feelings of depression, and just that change in the amount of sunlight, the daylight hours, can make folks have more depressive symptoms and can even send some people spiraling into depression. So when we set the clocks back in the fall, people suddenly lose an hour of evening light. That means we're spending more time in the dark. And that again disrupts something called melatonin production. And melatonin kind of helps you sleep, right? Helps you kind of regulate that. And that can contribute to something called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. And this can also lead to other symptoms like increased anxiety, lower energy, and in some people, as bad as even suicidal thoughts. So it's really important to think about this. This is science talking about what we all kind of feel like, why are we doing this? And remember, for kids and teens, the time change means a little bit more drowsy in school, poor concentration, higher risk of mental health issues. And there's a crisis of mental health issues, in my opinion, for kids in school. And so we're literally setting them up for failure when we do these kinds of things. The fourth reason why I don't love it is the productivity and workplace problem, right? So what happens in the workplace, right? Studies show that the Monday after the spring daylight savings time change, employees are less productive, more prone to errors, right? They can make more mistakes and even more likely get injured. And why? Because a sleep deprived brain makes more mistakes. We've all been there, right? When we haven't been sleeping well and we can't really think as well as we normally do. Study actually found a 5.7% increase in workplace injuries right after the springtime change. And major industries, right, like transportation, healthcare, see higher rates of human error after the daylight savings time shift change. So after you get the daylight savings time, those shifts, you have higher rates of human error. So to me, is do you want our doctors like myself, pilots, truck drivers, people that really, need to be alert to run on empty because of something that's to me quite outdated, the time change. I just don't think so. That's why I'm done with it. And then the last thing is 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 the myth, right? The myths of daylight savings times energy savings, right? So now people argue that daylight savings time actually saves energy, right? This is actually a myth. Studies have shown that any energy savings, right, from using less artificial light are wiped out by increased air conditioning use and more car accidents. In other words, to me, it's just not worth the cost to our health and safety. So, what's the solution? It's not all doom and gloom, right? I don't want to bring problems and no solutions. To me, here's the good news: lots of states have already been pushing to get rid of this daylight savings time, like I'm suggesting, and stick to one consistent schedule. Arizona, Hawaii, they're not doing daylight savings time, and they're doing okay. They're doing just fine. So why can't the rest of us do the same thing? To me, the best move is switch to permanent standard time. It's what our bodies want and they're naturally made for. No more artificial shifts, no more health risks that I talked about, no more Monday crashes. So that's what I would propose, and hopefully we can get our legislators to agree on that. Something that they can hopefully agree on, and to make this happen. But until that happens, right, we have to protect ourselves. So number one is prioritize sleep the week leading up to the time change. Avoid screens before bed. Remember, you want to get rid of the screens a couple hours before getting into bed. Maintain those healthy melatonin levels. I mean, no TV, no, looking at this wonderful phone and scrolling, etc. Also, get morning sunlight to be able to help reset your internal clock better. And importantly, try to talk to your legislators, right? Your Congress, men and women, and to see, hey, can we eliminate this whole daylight savings time once and for all? So I think we deserve better. Our kids deserve better. All of our, the folks that are our older generation deserve better. To me, science is pretty clear, right? Daylight savings time is not helping us; it's harming us. And to me, I'm done with it. It's time to put an end to it. So if you feel the same way, talk to your legislators. Um, we have to be able to make that change. And so I think, to be a health hero is to be an advocate for your health. And so let's advocate for our health and be able to get rid of this practice once and for all. So please stay strong, stay healthy, and as always, be your own health hero.